Hello everyone, this is Sonam and you are listening to Indian Moms on Air. Today we bring you my mentor and a lady who's really passionate about what we're going to talk about today, which is Women's Wellbeing Framework. I present to you Rizwaana Latiff.
Thank you, Sonam. Namaste, Sasrika, Assalamu alaikum. Firstly, I would like to start by saying how proud I am of the Indian Moms group. From conception in 2014 to what y'all have achieved thus far. It's like watching a child grow. And you know how you are proud of Anusha's achievements?
Yeah.
I feel the same way about the Indian Moms group.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
She is kind of like a mom to us. She's been that mentor we always needed, and I think that was the push we needed to bring Indian Moms Group forward. Talking on that topic, Indian Moms Group, we are ethnic women, we come from India and we migrated to New Zealand. And when we moved here, there was not such thing called what we're going to talk about today, which is Women's Wellbeing Framework. And I think well, we did okay, but still I think we really needed someone who could mentor us that way, and thank for coming into our life and doing that for us. But you being involved with Wellbeing Framework since the first day, what it is all about, what is the purpose of having, why we needed it?
So I'm like you, I am migrant ethnic woman, and I also came to a strange country from a different sort of background, different culture, and I also had problems settling in.
Yeah.
I also had my challenges settling in, which worked through, and say 20 years later, we worked through some stuff, we're still working through others.
Yeah.
And that has sort of always drawn me to, to initiatives that will help to empower women. And I totally believe that if you empower women, you advocate for women, you're empowering the whole family, the children and the husband.
Yeah.
So, but also with the Women's Wellbeing Framework, working with women and migrant families over the years, it's most of the time that the husband is in permanent employment,
Yeah.
and the woman is at home with the kids, but just haven't got that resources. When you are employed, you actually have the resources
True.
to find out about what New Zealand is all about, to find out about the health and education,
Yeah.
but it's in your workplace. The Women's Wellbeing Framework is aimed at helping families, through the women, settle into New Zealand, not
Yeah.
only Hawke's Bay. And in New Zealand, as we have quite a high family violence rate as well.
Yeah.
So this Wellbeing Framework also addresses family violence. But firstly, it starts with exploring who you are.
Yeah.
Well, I probably should go back a little bit about the history. In 2018, at a conference for multicultural women in Wellington, MP Jan Logie
Yeah.
presented or ran a workshop with all the women present to identify what are the main issues. And from there came the 4 main concepts of, you want to feel that you want to belong,
Yeah.
you would like your family's needs met, you want to feel that you're part and contributing to a community, and you want to lead a balanced life.
Yeah.
So that came about in 2018, and we had a working group that
Yeah.
worked on the framework. In beginning of sort of end of 2018, 2019, I ran a workshop here. So I ran a group here as a pilot, which was funded by J.R. Mackenzie, and it was amazing. The women that took part in the pilot were all from migrant backgrounds. there was one New Zealand woman but who had changed and had experienced family violence, and so her whole identity changed. So after being in a violent relationship for 20 years, she now found that she had to look for her identity. She had to look for her spot in the community, and this framework helped with that.
Yeah.
So when you come, new into a country, you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
You come into this country with your own culture, but you have that expectation, if I can call it that, to integrate into this new culture.
True.
How do you do that comfortably?
Yeah. That's what framework is for.
Yeah. And one of the first things that you do in this framework is you think about who you are. You become comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
So the first session is like an introduction session.
Yeah.
Where you introduce yourself, and often people will check, what's the meaning of your name? Where does your name come from? It's little things like that, and that stimulates you as an individual to start thinking about your identity.
Yeah.
And there is a saying, I can't remember who said it, that if you are strong in your identity, it makes it easier for you to accept other people. That's a fundamental belief.
Yeah. Talking about this, I think, as you said, we come from a cultural background when we move here. Like, I come from India. I'm from a Hindu background. That's my religion and culture. How will I balance it with New Zealand lifestyle? How will I blend into New Zealand? Well, I think I've blended in, but maybe you still have to you said that you have to have your own identity, like, strongly. How do you think we will make that balance with the framework?
Firstly, by recognizing that you do have your own beliefs, and also by being understanding and tolerant with other people, and acceptance. Non-judgmental approach is very, very important, because if you want to be accepted by others, you will need to accept other people as well. Sometimes it may not correlate, or it may not agree with some of your beliefs, but you have to respect the fact that that is that person's belief. You don't have to have the same beliefs as the next person to integrate with them, to be friends with them.
You just have to respect each other.
You just have to respect each other.
Yeah.
Because if you want that respect, you have to give that respect.
Definitely. I think I totally agree with that sentence, that if we want to be respected, we should give the same respect to the other person as well. Talking on that, how do you think it will help? Say I'm a migrant woman. How will it help me achieve my, say, career goals and next 5 years or 10 years? What other steps they will be giving, they will be taking or helping me with to achieve those goals? Okay,
this framework is not meant to be a sort of end all and be all. It's a basic guide.
Basic guide, yeah.
It works on empowering you as an individual. But during the framework, you sort of learn or are exposed to what New Zealand is all about. You get exposed to how to register with the doctor, what the education system is all about, what are the services at the hospital, what are the options for education. And one of the basic initiatives from this, or the basic recommendation, is that English, if it is not your first language, or if you struggle with English, there's an option of learning English either through EIT or English language partners. So these are the options that we explore as part of the framework.
True. And when we come to New Zealand, I think these are the main things we really need, but because we don't have any kind of help, we miss out on that. And as you were saying, your husbands are the one who will go out and work, and you become vulnerable at home because your kids go to school, and you just isolated in your own little bubble or your own little pod, because the only people you would be you would know are the friends of your husbands, or maybe moms from the school and stuff like that. But I think this is really important for us to empower our own self, and that just to take those first few steps to get inside the how should we, I don't know, how should we get into the to blend into the society.
I wouldn't use the word blend. We don't really want to use. We don't want to blend in. We want to integrate.
Okay.
You know, if you can, you know, if you have your own identity, you don't blend into. You integrate.
Good one. Thank you. Okay. Also, say we talked about how we will set, as I think, like, you know, to empower ourselves. What about the emotional needs?
So part of this framework or this program is to explore what are the options there, because one of the main points is to lead a balanced life. That includes your personal well-being, and also like things like having work that matches my skills. You know, it makes your self-esteem, self-confidence.
Yes,
it increases that. But how do we help you? Like, for example, there's a program to get your driver's license. So we will explore those options. What are your needs? So there are several programs on, for example, getting your driver's license. But what would suit you better?
Okay.
So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, sort of. Okay. So far it's really interesting. I really love the idea of having a well-being framework for ethnic women who have migrated or who've been living here for a really long time and who did not have this kind of help. You know, I personally might know a few who can really get help from this. How would one approach this? How one can come and be part of it?
So basically, as I mentioned before, I've been trying to get women together to do this framework with them. And it will be at a time that will probably suit you. We can use the Women's Center as a base. And to become a coordinator, you have to go through the program. You have to experience the program in order for you to appreciate the role of a coordinator. There's one point that I would like to make. Even though this is a women's well-being framework and it was initially developed for migrant women, it is not only restricted to women. Men can also do this. You don't have to be a migrant woman. We could use this with a women's refuge, because women that have, are in the refuge, they've lost their identity, they've lost their purpose, they've lost their feeling of feeling safe, they lost their feeling of being part of a community, and this will help women through that process. I'm trying to get into the teen moms program, because as teen moms you also have lost your sort of normal teenagers. I'm not saying it's bad, but what a normal teenager would be doing at 17 years old to what you're doing as a mom at 17 is very different. So this sort of this framework helps with negotiating the path, I would say.
Okay. As you mentioned, there are coordinators who will be running this framework for you.
Once I've trained them.
Once you train them, of course. I'm really excited, and I know some of my fellow moms will be really excited about to be part of it as a coordinator. So what do we need? What skills do we need to be a coordinator, or how can we be a coordinator?
You don't need
any skills.
Just be who you are. Just be open to the fact that you will be talking and having people with different ethnicities, from different diverse backgrounds in the group, and just be open to that.
Great. I think that's a wonderful idea, what we've discussed today, and on behalf of Indian Moms Group, I would like to take this forward, and maybe you can come and see us at Moms Group and talk about it between our community, because that's I know I can approach and bring them together, and we can discuss it with them, and then let's see how it goes from there.
So here's my challenge to you, Sonam.
Oh, come on, no challenges. There are people who give me challenges.
Get a group of 6 months or women together, right? And over probably a month of Saturdays or Sundays, we'll get this framework done.
Right.
We'll be able to train the coordinators.
That's a wonderful opportunity. With the challenges, Ken challenges me all the time. He's giving me like these, I don't know, unrealistic challenges. And then this one is actually very good. That one was not good at all. I would never be able to do that. So definitely we'll be doing it.
Never say you can't do it.
No, that one I can't.
Can't should not be in your vocabulary.
Okay, Mom. You might be wondering why I say Mom all the time. Because she's not my mom, of course. Look at her. But the way she'll come to, and she always pushes me to do my best, and she'll tell me what's right, what's wrong. She'll be always correcting me. She'll be not in a bad way, That's what moms do, right? This is how you should be doing. You should be part of this, and you should be going here. And I think this is really good for you. And she gave me that vibe, because my mom is back in India, but she's more my mentor. Mentor Riz. And with that, we also would like to say that Indian Moms Group is back at Hortunga Women's Center, and we will be having our first session very, very soon. And I will definitely take framework to them and make sure that I can gather as many of them as I can, and then we'll see you.
With regard to the coordinators, there will be options of some funding.
Yeah.
So there will be funding. This is not a voluntary, position. And with the coordinators, you can make what you can.
Yeah.
You can take that role, and there's no restrictions onto how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you can do the framework in such a way that where every week you actually go and visit an organization. So 1 week you can go to the library and see everything that the library has to offer, all the services. The next week you can go to the council and you can explore the services that the council has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be like a lecture type thing, but actually going out there and trying to negotiate, for example, the services in the council, or getting somebody to talk to you about what is there to offer, or going to the DHB and getting somebody to talk to you about the services of the DHB, or education. But this sort of takes you from everything from how to register with the doctor to actually voting. So it exposes it exposes you to everything, and what you make of it, that's most important.
Yeah. I think that as a woman personally, I think this is a really good initiative taken, and it's going to help a lot of women out there. I wish there was something like this when I moved to New Zealand 10 and 11 years ago.
Well, it's never too late, Sonam.
Absolutely. And I might be able to do a few things again, because it's never too late to do anything, and it's an initiative which will help the ethnic community here in New Zealand. And there are so many people out there who must be struggling. And as you say, it's not just for women, men can be part of it as well. So no, it's great.
And ultimately it will help our children.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, that's at the heart of everything that we do. It will help our children.
And I think it will help to mend the bridge between parents and children as well, because you just sit at home and kids are out there in schools and learning new things, and I think if you learn something as well, it will be really, really good to have that balance in life.
Yeah, and I mean, your kids are still quite little, but I know I came in and I had to negotiate the settling in process with growing kids.
Yeah.
And that in itself posed quite a few challenges, because you make your decision to bring your children here, but you also are bringing your children up in a different way to how you were brought up.
Exactly, yeah.
So you can't use what, your role modeling about how you were brought up with your kids. Your kids are being brought up in a different culture,
Definitely.
but at the same time still have to maintain their own culture. So they have challenges as well as children growing up here in New Zealand, but with that relationship, it's quite challenging. If I was back in South Africa and bringing up my children in that environment, I'd have challenges. But bringing my children up in this environment had different challenges.
True. It was great having you here.
Thank you.
So what have you been up to when there was lockdown and COVID, and I know you've been part of some amazing things, so just tell us about a few of the things you've been part of.
So as part of my job, I was working with civil defense prior on a project about building community resilience, identifying community resilience, how we can strengthen that in terms of when there's a crisis. And at that time I was just thinking, it's a right little tool that I can put in my toolbox for future. And then COVID happened in the middle of it, and so I said, why don't we try out this model? So the model was based on community champions identified in each community, and we get the message to the community champions, and the community champions will feed back to us any gaps. That's why you heard so often from me. You were identified as one of the community champions because of your contacts with the community, but also identifying any gaps. And what I did was brought a Multicultural Association on board, and we formed the Migrant Welfare Group. And we were very lucky to be sitting on the network of networks at the Civil Defense Emergency Response. And about 3 weeks into the COVID response, there was a need for a food bank, and it was like we had to do ethnically appropriate food parcels. So we approached the Hemoriora, which was an iwi initiative, but had Pacifica working with them. And when we approached them for guidance to set up a food bank, they said, "Why are you wanting to do this on your own? Come and join us." So Migrant Welfare Group joined Te Hemoriora in this response, and which means that we have the resources, we have the support of civil defense and iwi and Pacifica, and we work together. Because there's a lot of overlapping. For example, with the RSC workers, they're part of us migrants, but they're also Pacifica as well. And so we had 0800 number for Te Hemoriora, 1 for iwi, 2 for Pacifica, and 3 for migrant. And it was such a great relationship, and we've all gained so much from it, and this is really a good model that we hope to take nationally, because it shows true inclusion and our voices being heard. So
it's great, and she was one of the COVID-19 heroes. I think it's great. Thank you, Rizwaana, for being here, and thank you, everyone. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's session, and come join us and be part of Women's Wellbeing Framework, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
And I'm happy to talk about the framework to anybody.